Hi, welcome to Table Talk. I'm your host, Karen Wilson, and my guest today is Denny Wayne Robinson. He is the county executive for White County, and we're going to talk about White County's award for the American Rescue Plan. You guys have received a grant, I guess a grant award for that. Congratulations on that. That is awesome.
Well, thank you, Karen. Thank you for having me here. Part of what is required in this grant is letting the public know what's going on, be transparent in how you spend this money. And so I appreciate this opportunity to do that.
Well, let's start with, I guess, telling us about the award and how much it was, and how does an award like that work?
Well, this was part of the American Rescue Plan, and listen, that multi-trillion-dollar bill, and it's very complicated, branches out into many different sectors, but ours is under the state and local physical recovery fund.
Okay.
And each county was awarded some money based on population. And that's one of the things we talked about the census once before on
Yes.
here, and that's one of these things where the census is so important because we got our allocation based on
Based on your numbers.
based on census numbers. And so anyway, White County ended up getting about $5,311,000 for this ARP.
So I know there's certain, there's intent, I guess, when they award money like this. What is that?
Well, well, I'll tell you what, I'll just like to read what I consider the mission statement here of the, this came out of the reward, or the final rule. It says the mission statement: the pandemic caused severe economic damage, and while the economy is on a track to a strong recovery, much work remains to continue building a robust, resilient, and equitable economy in the wake of the crisis to ensure that this benefits and the recovery and reaches all Americans. So this is money that's put out there to help where the economy was hurt during the COVID crisis and the COVID pandemic, and we're trying to get the money out. And of course, obviously, I can't reach all Americans, but my job is to reach all of White County.
Yes,
so
right. County by county.
County by county. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yes, and as we were talking before, I think they do that because county officials kind of know what residents need more than anything. So you've got some pretty big projects, I think we talked about, that you would like to tackle. What is something you would like to see done or that's needed?
Well, probably the biggest expenditure out of this we're going to use in our solid waste fund. White County has its own landfill. There's only 2 counties in the Upper Cumberland that have their own landfill, and we're one of them. And when you're working with a landfill, you divide it up into cells, little individual spots, okay? So the cell that we're in is about to get full, not the landfill at home, but just that individual cell. And so we have got to build and prepare a new cell, and that's going to be a high dollar cost to the county. So I'm hoping to allocate $2.5 million of this money, about half of it, to go to pay for that landfill cell, because basically it has to be done, it has to be paid for. There's only, 2 ways to do it. We either use this money or we have to raise revenue somehow to do this. So this is kind of a blessing that we got this money to do this.
Because it was going to have to be done anyway.
And everybody has trash.
That's right.
Everybody,
we all do.
So that I feel like that is fulfilling the mission or the intent of this money to benefit all citizens. So,
well, and when you open up a cell, it's not just, hey, we're moving the fence or whatever to this area. It's much more complicated than that.
It is very complicated. Basically, you're building a pocket. It has to be lined. There's a lining in there, and there's drainage. They call it leachate. We have to collect Any of the water that comes out, through, runs over, anything that touches that, we have to collect and then dispose of through a sewer system, dispose of it properly. So yeah, there is it is a very complicated and a very expensive process. And the Tennessee Department of Environmental Conservation, they keep a close eye on how you do this.
Well, and that's good.
Yes.
It protects us all from the waste runoff and things like that.
Exactly.
So,
We don't want to poison the earth, so
right,
it is
right.
a good.
I can see that makes more sense, I guess, as to why you only open it up a cell at a time, because it's such an expensive process.
It's such an expensive process, and it's a lot to maintain. It's a daily maintenance issue.
So also, just as far as we talked about, on the phone a little bit before we got ready, a component of the award that can be used to receive other grants. How does that work?
Well, that's a good question, and that is such a good use of the money. There are not only did the counties get money, but the state also got money. And one of the and I probably should have mentioned this earlier. Some of the categories for spending this money is you can use it to replace lost public revenue, lost revenue for because a lot of businesses were shut down. So there was a revenue loss. Use it to respond to the public health of the economic impact there. Water and sewer infrastructure, broadband infrastructure, which we'll probably touch on a little bit, and then premium pay for essential workers. So under the water and sewer infrastructure, there is matching money out there. So I can take about $700,000 of this $5 million and turn it into an additional $5 million, pull it down for matching grants to use for water infrastructure inside of White County, which is something that is needed badly. The water system in White County is some of it's 60 years old or more, and water loss from the time that the water is processed to be drinkable, usable water. A lot of times up to 50 to 60% of that water is lost before it reaches a tap.
Just through leaks and
through,
things like that?
Just through leaks and things like that. And I mean, and can you imagine, reviving all that, how that would help? That would help everybody, every citizen.
Right.
So,
and be so much more cost efficient.
So much more cost efficient, yes, exactly. So we're looking at using some of that money to leverage and pull more dollars down for the state to kind of revamp our water infrastructure.
That's a good point, because I mean, like you said, that affects everyone too. Everybody uses the water.
Everybody uses the water, yes.
I know sometimes with wheel tax and things like that, people say, well, I don't drive, or I don't, have children in school. But when you got trash and water, we all fit that.
Trash and water, everybody uses.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Okay, with COVID, I guess we gained a whole new appreciation for our county health departments, and you said that there could be some funding, I guess, that might fit that criteria as far as health and wellness.
Absolutely. And my hat's off to our health department workers. When you talk about the front line and essential workers, those people were there. They were out there every day with those drive-through testing stations, rain, snow, hot, cold. They were the front line. They really were. And so anyway, it's similar with the water infrastructure. We're going to be able to leverage some of this money to pull down money for our health departments. And luckily, there was a study done, and White County is going to be able to receive a new health department. About a $5 million grant, and we have to use some of our ARP money. So we can turn another $550,000 is what it costs the county to pull down another $5 million. So with less than $2 million, we've already turned this $2 million into $15 million. So it is and again, I feel like that affects everybody.
Right. Well, you talk about, the award amount seems large, but it can go quickly. But if you can use that smartly to leverage new grants
Yes.
and to match those. That's a great way to even receive more.
Exactly, I agree. Because most of your grants have some sort of match, and if you can use this money to pull down those other state and federal dollars, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, and there's so many, I guess, county facilities and stuff that don't get the money that they need. We are small rural counties and that type of thing. Our tax base is not what some of the metropolitan areas are, so.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need this money to help, get us up to par with some of the other more metropolitan areas.
Exactly. It's really hard for us to compete with those high populated areas. I mean, they just have the tax basis that they can afford to do other stuff that we can.
Right, sidewalks and things like that. And we feel like those things are necessities, and they're becoming more and more necessities, but they're expensive and they've got to be paid for. So
yes, if gas keeps going up, sidewalks will become more necessity.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So I understand we talked a little bit before. Your budget committee has passed a $3,000 bonus for full-time employees, and you would like to take steps to get White County are supportive of that, so you can get them on par with what other county employees make in other areas.
Yeah, I mean our county employees are, they're the backbone of our communities. They're the ones that get things done. I don't know if there's enough money out there to pay them enough, but we need to try our best to get them up, especially with inflation and stuff. At least try to help them out best we can. Out of this $5 million, I've proposed to the budget committee $1 million of that to go for county employees. There is a debate back and forth between whether it should be bonuses or raises. I personally lean more towards the raise side because I think that benefits in the long term. You get more money, but that's splitting hairs. So that's a debate for the county commission to decide, but that money is there to try to help our employees and try to get them up to where they're making a decent living.
Yeah, well, I know there's a push, I guess, to get young folks to move back to our areas and contribute to where places they grew up, and that's a big thing, is what the wage scale is for, and you're wanting to attract people and keep them in these positions. Yeah,
exactly, and that's why I kind of push towards the raise myself, because at the end of the day, I've never had nobody come in to my office, apply for a job, and say, what kind of bonus do you give? The question is, what do you pay per hour, or what's the salary? That is always the question, and so I feel like that is the best use of the money.
Right. I mean, yeah, if the person is getting a home loan, they're not asking about their bonuses per se.
Yeah.
It's what your hourly wage
what
is.
you're making. It's what you're making. Yes.
Yeah.
And it just compounds throughout time. Any future raises is based on that money. It affects your retirement because percentage of your pay goes into your Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System. So if you're going to be a county employee for more than a year, raise is definitely much better off.
Yeah, and as we get older, we do think about that retirement percentage a lot more.
As we get older, that does, yes, it does.
Yeah, and it does. It's a huge impact on your retirement percentages and things like that.
Yes, it is.
And we want those people staying here when they retire.
Exactly. And be able to afford to stay here.
Yes, right. And you mentioned the use of some of the money for broadband. Is there any plans, I guess, for that to be spent in that manner?
Well, that is one that's still under debate. And how we talked earlier about how we're using this money to leverage to pull down more funds. Again, my hat's off to Ben Lomond. They was so proactive in running fiber and making White County a broadband access is just about everywhere.
Right.
We're
working to get it 100%.
Yes.
As the kids needed that and employees during COVID, it was so vital.
And that has brought a lot of, I know I'm getting off topic, but that has brought a lot of remote workers into our area. But the fact remains, Billona has done such a good job that we're not recognized as an area that's in need. So it's hard to leverage that money, in our area because Billona's done such a good job.
Well, I know we've applied for a lot of grants to
Yes.
help with that build, and so it is nice to hear, I guess, in the industry that some of these small rural cooperatives have the speeds. We just recently rolled out a gig at a certain, a very reasonable rate, and so in a lot of metropolitan areas do not have that.
Exactly. We have coverage-wise, percentage-wise, we have better coverage in White County than they do like in Davidson County. So it's y'all done a great job here. But sometimes, as government seems to work, you're not rewarded for doing good work. You're kind of punished. So,
well, we'll keep applying on our side for grants and things to finish out the build and all of that. But it does seem to be, yes, we're not critical like some areas are, as if we weren't doing anything. So
exactly. But we do have there's under my proposal for the county commission, there is a small amount of money left that broadband is still on the table. Yes.
Good. Well, thank you. We have covered a lot here. Anything else, I guess, that when you're talking about this kind of money, there's a lot of different opinions and directions that you could go.
There's a lot of different opinions and directions, and they're all good. I mean, I can't say that that one's better than the other, but I guess my main point here is this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. There will never, or I hope there's never nothing like this happens again, where there'll be such a large influx of money, to help. There's leaps and bounds we can do with our infrastructure here that without costing our taxpayers, local taxpayers, anything. And I hope that we get to do that in our county, and it will pay dividends for years down the road.
Well, I know when improvements like that are made, it's not something that county residents see on a daily basis. When you're talking about the landfill, they don't go out there and see that. They don't see the changes to the water system, but it's so critical.
It is so critical, yeah. This morning, I'm getting ready for this, when I turned the water on to brush my teeth, I really don't think about it being there. But if it's not there,
yes,
you will notice.
If we go back to the well and having to pull it up, we'll be ready to put some money in there, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for being on Table Talk today. I'm excited for White County and all the great things that you all look forward to doing with your award.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate this opportunity again. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And thank you to our audience for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. Have a safe, healthy, and happy week, and join us again for more Table Talk.